The next question is...
Well, yeah, I would love to say something about what Muhammad Ali inspired or inspires in me. Really, his ability to speak the truth, to be authentic, to be sincere, and to be unafraid to say exactly what's on his heart and mind. I have this firm belief that people are only as comfortable with us as we are with ourselves, and he personifies someone who is completely comfortable with who he is. And as speakers, I think that's what we all want to learn to do better. Be who we are in front of any audience so that they can resonate with who we are and we can tap into who they are. So his ability to do that is just amazing, and his courage and everything. The list is long.
Exactly, and this is something that I too learned as a Toastmaster, that this medium is the best medium to express yourself truly, to bring out your inner feelings and your ambitions and your inspired, and the person with whom you're inspired. Would you like to say something, please?
Yes, first of all, I want to say I'm honored to be here amongst these esteemed speakers, and it's a real great pleasure to see the universal appeal that Muhammad Ali has. I belong to the same Muslim community that Muhammad Ali belonged to in the U.S. And I have to say I'm very impressed with the way Muhammad Ali stood up for his beliefs. He stood up and spoke what he really believed from what he learned, from what all of us learned. He was a voice to the world for all of us. And I appreciate him personally. I've met him many, many times personally. I even sparred with him a little bit. But he was a person who had quick wit. His mind, he could have been a professor. He could have been a researcher. He could have been a scientist. He had that kind of mind. And along with that, he had courage, and he stood for truth. So I respect that highly, Muhammad.
Thank you so much.
6. Are you ready?
Yes.
Our next speaker is Nashid Abdul-Khaaliq. He was born in Trinidad, West Indies, and grew up in New York City in the USA. He has a bachelor's degree in physics from Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And my computer just died. Well, he's my husband, so I can just tell you a lot about him. He is the 2014 champion speaker for impromptu speeches. That means he's really good at speaking on the spot. But I always know how to stump him when I talk to him at home. He's just speechless. Most importantly, he is the 2016 champion of international speeches for Saudi Arabia, and will be going in August, inshallah, to the U.S. to compete, as Mohammed Katani did last year, with hundreds of other people for the one title of the World Champion of Public Speaking. He is someone that I know a lot about, and now you're going to hear from him. When I asked him what he loves about Muhammad Ali, he said his undying courage and his stance on things that he believed in. The title of his speech is The Silver Lining. The Silver Lining. Help me welcome a wonderful, dynamic, and really handsome man, my husband, Nashid Abdul-Khaaliq, from New Jersey.
There he was, sitting in the New York City train station, scared, shaking, wondering what will happen next. Bernard was only 16 years old and a troubled teenager. The police escorted a man before him and asked, "Is that him? Is he the one who robbed you?" Bernard looked up and saw the man he had robbed only 2 days ago and became terrified about a life in prison. The man looked and saw a teenager so scared, barely wetting his pants, and said, "No way, that's not him." Bernard felt a great sense of relief. And when finally alone, he prayed, "Oh God, thank you for saving my life. And Lord, please forgive a tough guy like me for wetting my pants in public." Good afternoon, distinguished guests, or good evening, I should say. For every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. A silver lining means to have hope, regardless of how bad and desperate our situation might be. And indeed, Bernard had many dark clouds. Bernard was from a good family whose parents sent him to private elementary school when he was an A student. But when he graduated and went to the New York City public schools, things changed. He started hanging out with the wrong kind of people and following bad ways. At the age of 16, his father kicked him out of the house saying, "Boy, you are not going to disrespect me in my house." No longer having a home, dark, gritty rooftops became his bed, and the warm summer breeze his blanket, until he could find a place to stay. He then decided to start a family, but not a family of wife and kids, but a street family of dealers selling drugs for him. Kicked out of his parents' home, Bernard had no restrictions to living a very dangerous lifestyle. One cold, dark winter night at a broken train station, Bernard waited for the last passenger to get off the train in order to rob him. And as Bernard was approaching the passenger, the man turned and put a gun in his face and said, "Stop, or I'll shoot." Caught and desperate, Bernard shouted, "Why are you going to put a gun on me, man? I was just going to ask you which train to get from here to Manhattan." "I know exactly what you were going to do. Now turn around and walk." Bernard turned and walked. "Why this guy had to pull a gun on me, man? I didn't expect that. I don't know if we're going to die or not." Terrified, not knowing if he was going to be shot. And after walking for a good ways, he turned, and the man was gone. Bernard felt a great sense of relief. Traumatic experiences like this and others, risking death time after time, made Bernard realize that if he didn't change, he will soon end up dead. And he began a desperate search for something to change his life. But just like every dark cloud has a silver lining, there was hope for Bernard in his desperate state. He voraciously started reading books, but it was not until he read some books on Islam that his life changed. The ideology of Islam liberated Bernard's mind from a negative self-perception, and he began a tremendous transformation that gave purpose to his life. He went from being a failing student in high school to eventually graduating from MIT, to becoming the president of his own computer company, and to replacing his street family with a real family, a beautiful wife, 5 boys, and 1 girl. Indeed, I know Bernard very well. And the last time I talked to him, he told me to tell you that Bernard changed his name to Nashid, and he is standing right here. With hope and the help of God, I was able to transform myself from New York City, Bernard, to Nashid. But when I joined an organization called Toastmasters, something truly miraculous took place. I became the first man in the history of Toastmasters to be known by my wife's first name, Mr. Akanke. And as Mr. Akanke, I became a district speech champion, and I accomplished many things. But who would have thought that that same teenager, sitting in the New York City train station, wearing his pants, would be standing here today as Nashid, wearing free? How did he make this change? It started with a strong desire to change my life. And like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, I started a metamorphosis. I gave up lies and decided to be truthful and honest. I stopped stealing and replaced it with hard work and dedication. And I continued my metamorphosis until today I stand before you as a beautiful butterfly. And like Muhammad Ali, I flew like that butterfly, and I stung like a bee, defeated all of my negativities. What about you? What are your dark clouds? Whatever it is, like Bernard, you can overcome it. Remember, there's always hope. There's always a silver lining. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Nashid. Thank you very much. We all have hope. Regardless of our situation, there's always a silver lining. Now, for the final round, round 7. 7 is a special.